Hello Me Collective, and welcome back to my channel. So today's going to be a collective message, and this is really speaking to these sorts of channeled messages are really speaking to the unique formula of all of the different impulses, energies, and transits that are affecting us at this time. The first thing I heard when I started pulling for this spread was a foul invitation. A foul invitation on the back of these two cards. Water, lots of water energy, right? Libra brings us into focus when it comes to balance and our relationships. And as I was investigating further, the Three of Cups and the Page of Cups in the reverse, it's almost the other way around. The Page of Cups in the reverse is coming to these guys, thinking that they know what's up, thinking that they have some kind of answer that he or she doesn't in the Page of Cups. I'm gonna try and do something a little different than what I usually do and kind of see into all the different ways this could resonate for you, but just feel into what resonates, right? I say this in every video and I won't stop, because resonance isn't about whether or not it makes sense in your head. Resonance is about your body openness, your divine feminine in your heart and your body being able to indicate to you that something resonates by how it feels, rather than us making stories about the feelings and getting lost in all of this distortion, because our minds have distortion that our bodies and our hearts don't, right? This is all the work on the masculine that has been brought in for the collective, and if you're curious about that, watch my most previous video. Because we have the Hierophant in the reverse, and this speaks of a lesson, is something that has taken the collective a little bit longer than expected to absorb, to understand, to sort of really get the gravity of. And that is that it's like they're showing me this cheesy movie where it's like you have to go off and catch your love or catch the thing that you love right before it's about to board the plane. So you're running through the airport like a cheesy rom-com. You know what I mean? But somebody in your life or people in your life, then they step in between that and they make you feel like the urgency is placed elsewhere. It's like receiving a foul invitation, receiving an invitation to something. Meanwhile, the invitation that is being sent, and by whom, the person that sent it knows that they're going to be able to prevent you from moving forward. So this could be an ex, this could be an old job, this could be something that tries to sweeten the pot right before you're about to receive something beautiful, right before you're about to receive. And in your triggeredness of all this energy and in being in your head, right? The cups in the reverse speak of not being able to hold or understand that frequency. And the cup actually, people, it's in reference to emotions and the heart, but really it's in reference to relationships. The wands more represent the heart and that spark and that inspiration and that passion. But the cups represent your receiving and giving what you need, your exchange with the people around you, right? Your sustenance, the water, the feminine, the nurturing between people and places and things, right? What gives back and what's being nurtured and what is symbiotic in a beautiful growing nature, organically, right? And whoever these people are, this Three of Cups in the reverse, they are the exact people that you are ascending out of trying to find validation from or match to or be fit in with, right? This is that deep wound of not fitting in, that black sheep mentality that I've been talking about. And if you weren't here for that, then I will say that black sheep, it's an interesting name because 1 out of every 3 or 4 sheep have black fur or black wool. And the reason that black sheep are treated so badly, or the reason that analogy even came to be, that saying, that phrase, is because black wool is the hardest to manipulate. Your being, your authenticity is the hardest to manipulate. So this is that shadow aspect of that black sheep energy where you don't realize it, but you're constantly being you're following the impulse of external and material things whether it could even represent drinking, alcohol, a group of people that have bad toxic traits, right? But there's something about them that draws you. And it's that something about them is that a fraction of what is available to you on your own. And this is why we have the Eight of Cups here in the upright position, because this is leading you to a realization. It's not about you being hard on yourself or even accepting this invitation. If you went, let us know in the comments how that shit went, because from what Spirit told me, it's foul. It's foul. They're telling me this could be a party, this could be finally like people that never gave you the time of day, a group of people, and then all of a sudden they're prioritizing you, and it's because they are not realizing it, but subconsciously in some way they need something from you, whether they need to feed on you energetically or something attached to them needs them to feed on you so that they can feed on it, whatever it is. It's speaking to these energetic collective videos that I've been channeling for the past couple months. And if you're interested, there's links in the description box, in the link tree link for my Facebook and where I go live with my friend Jessica. We both go live at different times or do different things, but we share that page on there. And we address this in the collective directly, one by one. And right now, the reason I even bring this up is to say that this is an energy that has been had a focus. So if you resonate with this, make sure that you follow me there if you're even on Facebook, and I'll try to incorporate some of the lives over here. But it just feels like, well, eventually you're gonna realize that you're doing the same thing you've done. You've changed the shape and form of the cycle, the habit, the cycle, the thing that your shadow, your higher self, all aspects of you are trying to show you in different ways. Really, your higher self is trying to show us. Where we bog ourselves down and take away space from ourselves to be able to accomplish certain manifestation tasks, accomplishments, right? Where we've been hard on ourselves. And in reality, it's this heart impulse. The Page of Cups in the reverse is not moved out of pure compassion. He's moved out of obligation. He's moved out of being gaslit. He's moved in ways that are not necessarily healthy. He's moved in ways that, thank you, Spirit, that make him vulnerable to potential energetic unconscious entanglements. And this is the thing that this is what Spirit is trying to show us. This is what Spirit has been trying to bring to us. In order for us to receive the benefit of this new experience, we have to allow ourselves, of receiving the new cycle, we have to allow ourselves to go through the death process, right? The death process and Scorpio, from what they're channeling now, I've never heard this before, but they're saying like the death process in Scorpio happens with Libra. It's almost like the energies come hand in hand when it comes to Libra and Scorpio. It's that air energy and that water energy, right? That balance, that relational balance, the checking in with all the relationships and all the invisible contracts we have in all of these different relationships, where we lack faith and where we're overactive in our mind, where we overcompensate in our relationships, where we feel insecure, where rather than looking at that insecurity and not running from it out of fear that it's going to show you something about yourself you don't want to see, we're allowing ourselves to look deeper to realize that a lot of these fears and a lot of these beliefs are illusions, and they're born out of the soil composition of trauma. And we're taking a different look at our gardens. That's what this is all about. I don't see one pentacle here, because all of a sudden the collective stopped focusing on their own stability. The collective stopped focusing on what their feminine is bringing to them in their knowing, and their masculine is still over here insecure about the feminine and wanting to take a back step to try and please these people and try to get this world to have a different happy ending. It's about wanting to rewrite the ending, wanting to get into these energetic arrangements and wanting the ending result to be different. But you will always be where you be. And no matter what, this pain is not pointing you towards something deficient within you or within us. It's pointing us towards something deeper. It's pointing us towards let me pull some clarification cards. It's pointing us towards an ego death is really what I'm hearing, an ego death. Wherever the ego is fighting you tooth and nail for this transformation and change collective, a foul invitation. You know, I've been watching recently, and it's so random. I was watching a series of unfortunate events. Series of unfortunate events. Because your mind is restless, and Spirit is trying to show you, we've been trying to show you this whole time, that what it is that you're craving and what it is that your spirit is pointing you towards in deficiency has nothing to do with relationships with other people. But this is a pattern and an impulse that we found when we find ourselves uncomfortable. We throw ourselves into these things, and it becomes like its own sort of snowball of distortion and confusion and all of these other things that come in when we're not balanced in our relationships, when we're not conscious and present with how we feel and how we've transformed, how we've changed, right? What our bodies are telling us, what our hearts are telling us, and then the mind will tell us, no, this has been my friend for many years. There's no way. Like we're not letting this go, right? We're not allowing ourselves to receive this message. Well, maybe you'll realize that it's not so personal. It's not about you having to walk away from any relationship as much as it is just for you to recognize the fact that it's a foul invitation. Do you not smell the garbage and the straight up sewage and doo-doo fucking mud water that is coming off of this invitation? Because if you don't, this is why Spirit is trying to show you. There's so much unconscious, and there's so much stagnation, and there's so much spiritual bypass that is happening around the collective, meaning people that are around us and wanting to hold us in that frequency too, because that's the only way we feel comfortable or feel safe relating, right? When we dim our light a bit. And so many of us in the collective don't even realize all the different ways in which we do it. So many of us in the collective have been on a high from everything that we've experienced in our ascension recently. And the divine has been saying we have plateaued, and this is meant to be a momentum that feeds on its own speed. Hear that. This is meant to be a momentum that feeds on its own speed. We understand that right now you are stabilizing the frequencies of the new being that you have stepped into. But in that stabilizing, there is other opportunities for awareness. And we're showing you this. But it's almost like you want to receive everything that's coming to you right now as if it's a gift, because you don't trust yourself to be able to discern what's good and what's not. Right? You're in your head too much. And this is where the divine is guiding us out of. The divine is guiding us out of being slaves, literally, to our own minds, right? Where is it that your pimp is ordering you around, take those wands and carry them over to the next town, right? Where is it that you're carrying all of this responsibility that isn't yours to carry, and really trying to save these people from having the awareness that they need, and realizing that their codependency, thank you, Spirit, with each other is only allowing them more and more of the miserable space that they've been held in. It's really fucking intense. Because many people, they may look like they have a plan, they may look like their lives are together, and Spirit is saying, we need you to, this is a master initiation in sovereignty, okay? This is a master initiation in discernment. For you to be able to tune in and see that everything that glitters is not always gold. And that there are some people who have gotten very, very, very good at dimming themselves down to the point where they are not even conscious of who they be anymore. To the point where they're over here pleasing everybody around them and just living completely unconsciously, and allowing the perception, the projection of their perfect life make you feel less than in yours. There's a reason that certain things did not come in for us collective. There's a reason that certain relationships didn't work up. There's a reason that we've been rejected so often. Some of us feel like black sheep not because of our families, but simply because it feels like romantically, it's just like we feel like we're an acquired taste. You're not an acquired taste. The palate of the collective unconscious that we've been born into does not have the palate to appreciate the full body taste of your embodiment. Boom. The collective of unconscious does not have the palate to appreciate the full embodied taste of our embodiment. So therefore, they make us feel like we're wrong, like they make us feel like we ain't shit, like what we bring to the table is not as much as we think it is. And the divine is looking at us and saying, we knew that these people would not see the value of who you are, but that's not the point. We don't need them to see it for you to believe it. You need to see it. This is the divine walking us back from stepping out of our divine gardens and pulling a knowledge from the tree, pulling an apple from the tree of knowledge that is not inside of our garden, that's external to us, and just taking it as truth, right? Going to somebody else and receiving their validation as your own window to empowerment and validation is, it's this codependency. It's this very energy. It's this foul invitation. Some of you, it's a job, they're telling me, and it has to do with healthcare. For one or some of you. For others of you, this is like a group, like an online community, or like a tribe, and it's like they seem like they're all love and light from the outside, but you realize that what they're serving is of a lower nature, or they don't even realize that they're unconsciously chasing and they're not really in alignment, and you're like realizing that even though the community may have served you at one point, it's not serving you anymore. This is the Pentacles, and finally, the Pentacles arrive. Hello, collective. It is through this that the Pentacles finally come. Okay, and it's the Three of Pentacles, and the Pentacles is what we've been searching for. It's what we've been needing. Okay, this energy, it's very, if you're in alignment, it's literally miracle. It's literally miracle energy when you manifest, when it comes to Pentacles. Like a real concrete job, when it, like things like that on the backs of all of these retrogrades, and on the back of the energy astrologically from what I've channeled, some of the only ways to receive abundance is through true alignment, which is why a lot of people who may have been a hot baller, or may have been like doing well and really masculine, distorted, controlling over their monetary experience and their finances, they're gonna find themselves struggling because they can't control their way into it anymore. The lack of alignment is speaking, the call for the lack of alignment is louder than their shouts of control and oppression, or whatever it is that they do in their lives to themselves, to those around them, in order for them to maintain that. Right? And these are the individuals that are wanting, they don't even realize it, but in a subconscious way, they're wanting access to your garden, because it's almost, they're showing me this image, or a story, sort of, I guess you could say. It's like this woman is having a dinner, and it's like she wants to show, like everybody's so curious and they keep bringing up the garden, and she's like, "What? Don't you guys all have your gardens?" And from her knowledge, they're abundant. They have more. Like her little garden is you know, she's been only focusing on her garden. She's not focusing on nobody else's garden. She may look over across from her house to see the size and the way people put, you know, she might see certain things, but at the end of the day, she doesn't even reflect that back to her worth. She knows the energy and what her garden needs for her, right? So then all of these guests from the neighborhood come by and they're all inquiring about her garden, and she's like, what the hell is going on? None of you guys have cared about my garden. In fact, I've heard many of you guys make underhanded comments about the size of my garden, but what you don't realize is that other people have forced themselves into this huge garden that they don't know how to maintain, and all of their crops are dying, and they're trying to come to you and build up some kind of sweetness so that they could take from your garden, and it blows your mind because you never could have thought that that was what the situation was, because these people, they have their money, they have their whatever, but there's something of them that is deeply malnourished and underfed, and you're over here looking like a prize racehorse, and they're like, what the fuck is this person doing? There's no way. In my ego, I'm gonna allow that person to succeed above me with everything that I've given away, with everything that I've sacrificed to have my big ass garden. You know what I had to do for that? Fuck that. They're gonna have to give me what I deserve because they're not doing as much as I am, right? They're coming at this with a weird energy, and the Empress is just sitting there like, bruh, leave me and my birds alone. Okay, I'm just chilling in my garden. I'm singing to my flowers and all of my fucking vegetables and shit. And you're over here with all your wonky ass energy. And I thought you had the biggest garden of us all. What happened? Right? Don't fall for the illusion. Oof. That was quite the story download. It's like they're playing games at the dinner table to try and get you to feel insecure, to try to get you to feel like you need something from them, when in reality, they need something from you. From us, collective. They want our alignment. They want everything that they don't realize they're feeling about us, and everything that is energetically coming. It's like people can feel energetically, whether they're conscious of it or not, that certain shifts are happening. And one of the shifts makes it a lot more uncomfortable for people to maintain their wealth the way that they have, when they have all of these holes in their consciousness and all of these belief systems and programs that don't serve the energy that we're living in. They are experiencing a true famine, and I keep saying this. We got the 1111 in the words of Perfectly Imperfect Tarot. That balance. There's something about learning through this invitation, because I'm getting from Spirit that not everybody's going to turn down this invitation. Not everybody's going to turn it down. But there's, at the very least, I do feel like the collective is going to learn big time from this. And it's going to be not like you're going to learn as in like next time you're going to do different. It's like as it's happening, you're coming into all this awareness and downloads, and it's actually empowering you, because you're like, wait, why are they acting like they don't know how to tie their shoes? And you're like, wait, I know how to tie my shoes. Like, wait, this is just an example, but it's like, hold on, have I been bugging thinking that these people have it all figured out and I don't? Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Salmon in the reverse. Ooh. Look how pretty that card is. Look at how pretty. This is the Winter Seer Animal Companion deck by Ciolo Thompson. Salmon. In a reading, no, they want me to read the whole thing, so I'll read the whole thing. Salmon often appear in Celtic, Norse, and early Christian lore. The raven is perhaps the only other creature that occupies such a primary place in northern mythologies and systems of belief. In Irish folk stories, drowned people were said to appear as black salmon. The fish shows up in several important legends associated with long life and knowledge. The most famous of these tales is the Gaelic hero Finn Mac Cumhaill, the salmon and the salmon of knowledge. These salmon acquired immense wisdom from feeding on nuts and the 9 sacred hazel trees growing around the well of wisdom. These trees guaranteed both knowledge and poetic inspiration. As the trees dropped ripe hazelnuts, a purple wave rose in the water. A purple wave rose in the water, which is where the salmon would swim and feed. Each time they ate a nut, a red spot appeared in their skin. If you were to eat one of those spotted fish, you would gain the gifts and knowledge of the poetry. This is known by Finn's tutor, Phineas, who lived by the river Boyne. Excuse me, all of these words, I hope you're following. After many years of trying, Phineas eventually caught one of these fish at a place called Feck's Pool. Jubilant, he ordered his young pupil Finn to prepare and cook the fish over the campfire, but admonished him to not eat any of it. Young Finn followed his teacher's instruction and began to cook the fish. As it cooked, the salmon's skin blistered from the heat and the flame. When Finn popped out of the blisters, the fat from the fish splattered, burning his thumb. Finn sucked his thumb to ease the pain and instantly acquired all of the salmon's wisdom and poetry. From that day on, if Finn ever needed to call on the gifts of the salmon, he had only to put his thumb in his mouth, and knowledge would come to him. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. It's like this abundance that I was talking about, this abundance of awakening, of energy, of connection, of alignment, this abundance of helpful energy that helps us along and helps us step into our most authentic, powerful selves. All he needed to do from that point forward was to suck his thumb, and then the knowledge would come to him. The salmon is symbolic of our own journey through life and toward wisdom. Like the cycle of the salmon, our own path often requires a return home. In youth, so many of you guys, this is a return home, being around people you haven't been around in a while. To truly come to a place of understanding of ourselves and others, we need to be willing to examine our origins with an open heart and open mind. True wisdom comes from compassion and acceptance. While we can acquire knowledge through work and learning, wisdom is not acquired but embraced. Wow, wisdom is not acquired or collected. It's not like something we need to add up in our piggy bank to get to a point. It's like it's something that we come into alignment with. The salmon reminds us to connect with the childlike energy of our early selves, to be open to happiness and new experiences. The divine is saying your childhood self is the key to not fall privy and trapped or by the trap of this foul invitation. It feels like the reading just ended and I wasn't even aware of it until I was aware of it. Okay. All right, so that concludes the reading. Don't forget to hit that like button or that dislike button. I don't control your life. If you feel resonant with me, and if you want, if you feel drawn to, if you feel expansive, if your body feels excited by the idea of connecting with me, especially as this is a new channel and I'm looking to build and really build a community here. That's the intention that I set. A community of meek souls, a community of souls that are driven towards self-illumination, right? Towards walking the path of the Christ, right? Overcoming our earthly desires, right? And not meaning that desire is bad, but overcoming the desires that prevent us from really reaching our fullest potential, right? Understanding what is important and really feeling the value of it, healing ourselves, seeing all the ways in which we're not in energetic dominance of our experience, and asking questions into it, discovering this is what it means to me to be meek. And if that's what it means for you, then I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with you. God bless.